Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're in my kitchen because it's Tutorial Wednesday and I'm going to show you how I make these amazing chocolate chip cookies. If you love chocolate and you love cookies, you're going to want to see this video. These are called the Perfect Chocolate Chip because they are really good. Trust me, I made these a few times before. I'll leave the link to the recipe in the description below, so if you want to do your own recipe, you can. But this is how they look. But I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I have a pan down here that I do Koji's treats in. It's this kind of pan. I'm going to do a little experiment. I'm going to put, instead of putting it on a regular cookie sheet and then I'm going to put them in here so they're a little bit smaller and easier to handle because they do come out like medium-sized cookies. But that is my experiment for today. So let's get started on this cookie recipe. I have this cup. I just wanted to show you this cup that I have that you might see me drinking out of during this video. It's for the 4th of July season. I got it at Winn-Dixie's, my local grocery store that I go to all the time. It was like $4, so it's a really good buy. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the next. The ingredients you're going to need for this recipe is unsalted butter, Crisco, brown sugar, white sugar, and egg, vanilla, all-purpose flour, cornstarch, baking soda, cinnamon. The cinnamon is optional. The last time I made this, I put in cinnamon, but I'm not going to do it this time because I've tasted it with cinnamon. But if you're a fan of interest, you can put in the cinnamon to your cookies. Next is fine salt. Don't use sea salt. So you don't want to use that in chocolate chips. This recipe, you never use the whole bag of chocolate chips. Just this one bag. A big bag, a small bag. It just says one bag. It doesn't say like a certain size of chips. I think you can get with any kind of chocolate chips. It says milk chocolate, but it just depends on your preference of chocolate chips. If you like dark chocolate, white chocolate, just go with your own. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, it says start by placing your softened butter along with the butter flavored Crisco into your mixing bowl. I didn't get butter flavored Crisco, I just got the regular Crisco. So it really depends on you and what you want it to be. I'm just going to turn you around here so you can see the oven and watch me bake. Okay, so first it says softened butter. So I'm going to go back to the previous slide here and see how much softened butter I need. I need a half a cup of softened butter, and I have my cups over here, right here. I keep these handy because I bake a lot. So we need a half a cup right here. So I'm going to put these back over here until I need them again. So this is a half a cup right there. This is for dry ingredients only, which kind of is better because I don't want to put it in like this thing, which is a liquid measuring cup. This is for dry ingredients, so I'm going to get my butter right here, which I get a big one. This is like a medium-sized one. I get this size because it'll last longer for us because we use butter quite frequently in this house. So I'm just going to get a spoon, and I'm just going to spoon it into the measuring cup until I have enough. People say level it off. I don't do that. I just put it in there until it is enough. Usually about 3 spoonsful are enough for me. Okay, so there we go. Butter. I'm going to put this in the sink. Put this over here in case I need it again. Okay, and the Crisco. And it says add Crisco, and you just need 1/4 of cup of Crisco. I know I have that cup. Yep, there's 1/4. So, just gonna open it. You can get the brand of Crisco, or you can just get the store brand. The store brand is usually much cheaper than the name brand. So, just gonna move the butter out of the way because I don't need that no more. Put that right there. And I'm just gonna get another spoon. I don't like using the same spoon for everything. That's just me. I'm a little OCD about that, but if you want to use the same spoon for all of your dry ingredients, it's totally fine. It's really up to you. This is just my preference. Okay, so 1/4 of a cup of Crisco. I'm sorry, that was really loud. And just put that in the sink jar. This is why there's like so much dishes when I'm done cooking. Okay, so then it says, also preheat your oven to 350 degrees. My oven is a little crazy sometimes because it will beep at you and you have to reset the clock at least once a day, if not more, but today it wants to work with me, which is good. So I'm going to push bake. It says 350, automatically goes to 350 on mine. I'm going to push start, and that's going to take a few minutes, which is okay because you want to give it a few minutes while you're baking here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the butter away and put the Crisco away so I have more room to bake these cookies. Because as you can see, my kitchen is a very small space. I need all the room I can get. So we're going to go to the next slide here. It says if butter for your Crisco is not good enough, you just go to, like, it recommends another one you can go to if that's not cool enough for you. Then it says add both sugars, so we have to go back to the first. You're going to be doing this a lot with the recipe that I use. You're going to be going back and forth between ingredients and what you are. But it's totally fine. Like I said, it's like my third cookie when I'm done with this recipe, and I really love these cookies a lot. Okay, so you need 3/4 cups of brown sugar. Here's my brown sugar. Like I said, I just bought the store brand. It's much cheaper than buying a name brand, in my opinion. So you want 3/4. That's 1/2. 2/3. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do one whole of these. I'm gonna do a half of this. It's close enough for me. If you have the right measuring equipment, that's cool. I don't always have the right measuring equipment, so I do the best I can. And that's all I can do. So now, I'm going to get another spoon, and I'm going to, because I don't want to spill it everywhere, that's why I'm doing with the little spoonful at a time. So I don't want to have like a big mess when I'm done. And you don't want to push the brown sugar down because it falls by itself. So you really don't want to press it too much. All I do is I just shake it, do a little tapping, and that's all I do to it. Just a couple more spoonfuls here, and it should be there. One more. I'm just showing you how I would normally bake these cookies as it is. This would probably, the mixing process probably take about 10 to 15 minutes, but the baking is a lot, baking in oven's a lot less. So there's one. I'm going to do half of that, and that should be enough. One more, and that should do it. Okay, so there's the brown sugar. So I'm just going to leave the brown sugar out because it's not a really big bag for me to use. So just sit behind the oven right there. Okay, you need a 1/2 cup of white sugar. I have this white sugar. I usually buy store brand, but this one was on sale, so that's the one I got. So you need a half a cup. And here's the half. I'm going to try and rinse it out. Like that. And dry it so the sugar doesn't stick. Because if it's wet, whatever dry ingredient you're using will stick to the measuring cup. And you don't want that at all. If you do this by your eye, that's totally cool too. It's always up to you. I don't. It's like I usually get my math wrong. It's like a little bit over, a little under. But either way, the cookies still taste amazing. So I'm going to just go to this bag and fill this measuring cup up. Like that. So half a cup. It looks like a lot of sugar. But trust me, it's going to taste really good. Okay, so I'm done with the sugar. Put it back up here. Okay, so it's both sugars. So I have to go back to where I was. Okay, here we are. It says using the pedal attachment on your mixer, cream, everything. This guy uses like a really brand name mixer. I'm not. I got this mixer at Walmart. It was like maybe 30 to 50 bucks at Walmart. It came with all these utensils here. I keep it in a bag to keep in the mixer just to keep it all together. It came with these. It came with these if you're doing a dough of some sort. And it came with that. So it was really cool. I really like this mixer. It's better than doing it with your hands. But if you don't have a mixer, just do it with your hands until you get it as firm as you need it. So he uses like a big wooden paddle. I'm not. So I'm just going to use what I got, which is these. Okay, my mixer has been a little tricky the past few times I did it because one goes in one and one doesn't. So I just check to make sure it doesn't fall out so I have it in the right one. There we go. Okay, so he says give it a few minutes on high to make sure it is nice and fluffy. So you want this thing to be nice and fluffy. I'm just going back making sure I didn't miss anything. No, it doesn't look like I missed anything. Okay. So it says to put it on high until it's nice and fluffy. So this is going to get loud. I just want to warn y'all, this is going to get loud. So if your volume's on high, I would turn it down right now. Lift it up, and I'm just going to get a paddle or something to make sure it's mixed completely before I continue with the recipe. If I can't find what I'm looking for, I'll just substitute it with something. Which I can't find it, so I'm just going to substitute. I'm just going to use a spoon. I usually would like to use a paddle or some sort, but can't find it, so I'm just going to do it what I got. So I mix it up a little bit just to make sure everything is mixed in here. You want it to be fluffy, he says. My oven's almost ready. It's going to beep at me when it's ready to go. So So that looks good. So if you don't have a mixer, I'm going to show you what this looks like if you do it by hand, which will probably take a little bit longer if you don't have a mixer. But I got this mixer because I was baking a lot and I didn't want to do it all by hand and have my hands cramping here. I'm trying to get it all out, all the goodness. Okay. So I'm going to bring over the bowl, and this is what it should look like if you're doing it by hand and not with a mixer. But in the recipe, he shows a picture of what it should look like based on his mixer. His is like a big, expensive mixer. Mine's not. Just work with what you got, and that's all you can do. Okay. This is one time during the cooking making when you can't over mix. If you want it creamy and fluffy like this, and he shows you the picture that I just showed you. Okay, so what he does according to this, he says crack the egg into a small bowl. Do this first to make sure your egg is not a creepy egg. He got a black one before. I don't know where this guy shopped for his eggs, but well, I've been shopping for mine. I know they're good, so I'm not going to really worry about that. But if you know your eggs are good, don't worry about this step. Just skip that and just keep going. He says add the vanilla and mix together with a fork. So you're supposed to whisk the egg and the flour and the vanilla together. So we're just going to go by what he says right now. So I'm going to get a bowl. I didn't read that when I was prepping. But oh well. This is on the fly. That's what I do. These are eggs I bought at Dixie. That's the grocery store I go to. And we get the natural ones because those boil better, which is going to be next week's tutorial for a heads up on that. So here's my vanilla. Again, store brand vanilla. I have to go back to the first picture I took to see how much vanilla I need. You need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So, I have it up here. That is a 1/4. So, I could do 8 of those. Let's do that. Works. So since I have a 1/4 teaspoon, I'm going to do 4 of these. But if you forgot a teaspoon, go right ahead and just do 2. So I'm going to do 4. There's my oven. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1. I'm going to do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So there's the vanilla. So what he wants you to do is whisk it with a fork. But I have my little whisk here, so I'm just going to do it with that. Let's add vanilla and whisk together. So I'm just going to whisk it. Whisk it together. I'm not going to show you this part because I'm scared it's going to spill out. So I'm really not going to show you this part of the process. If you have a whisk, it's probably better than using a fork, in my opinion. Okay. So next he says, dump the sweet smelling egg mixture into the mixing bowl and mix on medium or until incorporated. So I'm just going to pour it in. Like that. It looks like a brown mixture, but I would think that's because of the vanilla. So So now I'm just going to close up the vanilla and put it away because I don't need that no more. In this cabinet, I keep all my spices and things. I'm very organized in this kitchen now. Okay, so we're going to put this on medium. Again, this is going to be very loud. And we're just going to make it until it's incorporated. And we'll see what it looks like then. Incorporated, but I'm going to do again, take a spoon and make sure it's completely incorporated because sometimes these mixers don't get it all together. So I'm just checking to make sure it's all incorporated here. Like that. Put spoon in the sink. I know, I'm weird. Can't help it. Okay. So this is what it's going to look like when that part of the process is done. Okay. So next, it says I just lost my space. Sorry about that. Just give me a second until I find my space again, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So now it says, place a sleeve over the bowl and add in flour, cornstarch, baking soda, salt, and cinnamon if you're feeling adventurous with your cookies. I'm not going to do the cinnamon. So what I'm going to do, because you're supposed to add a little bit at a time into the mixture, so I'm just going to get a bowl like before, and I'm just going to add this. I have a little flour thing that my grandmother used, so that is what I'm going to use now. I don't know why my iPad is being difficult today. Okay, so I'm going to get a bowl out of here. This bowl should be big enough for this because it's not a lot. So then I'm going to get my little sifter here. This was my grandmother's. I really love this thing because I know she used this every day. Okay, so you just place it over the bowl like that. I'm going to move the camera down so you can see a little bit better. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the first slide where it has all the ingredients. We are supposed to add flour, and we need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Again, I bought store brand flour, so much cheaper to buy the store brand instead of buying the name brand. That is just my opinion. So we need 2 cups. So I have my cup here, right here. You can either pour this out or just spoon it out so you don't make a giant mess, which is what I'm going to do. I don't want to make a giant mess because then I have to clean it up. And I'm lazy like that. I just put it over the flour container I have here So if some fall, it goes right back into the bag here. Just keep going until it's full, and then just shake it like that, or however you want to do it until it evens out. Again, I don't go over the top like that. My grandmother never did that. My mother never did that, so I don't see why I should do that too. Just shaking it until it gets up. This is a 1 cup measuring cup. I wish they had a 2 cup measuring cup. It'd be so much easier. Okay, so you're just going to pour that into the sifter. You don't want to sift it until you have all the dry ingredients you need for this. So then, I'm going to do this again so it gets up there so I can shake it out. I shake it out as I go so that I know how much I'm going to need left. It's like every couple of spoonfuls I get out and I just shake it. But you can do it however you want. If you're one of those people that has to have the exact measurements, I'm proud of you because I've never been one of those people. Never been one of those people that just does that. Sometimes I just do what I think is enough. I eyeball it sometimes, but that's totally up to you. I'm going to keep this spoon because it's just dry ingredients. I'm not going to put that one in the sink. Okay, so now we're going to go back to where I was, which is right here. So we put in the flour, now we're going to put it in the cornstarch. And the cornstarch, you also need 2 teaspoons of that. So I have my 1/4, but screw it. I'm just going to use a regular spoon. So you need 2. So we're going to do 1 and 2. And then it's Koji in the background because he has to go outside. I'll let him outside once I put the cookies in the oven. So Koji, darling, you're going to have to wait a bit. Okay, so that's the cornstarch. Always go back to where you were so you know which ingredients you're going to use next. It might be wrote as the instructions say, but I always go back and forth just to make sure. So next is baking soda. Go back here. And baking soda, you just need 1. I bought this big box because I'm going to clean out my bathtub because I found a really neat trick that'll be on my tutorials in maybe the end of this month or beginning of next month. Okay, so there's the baking soda. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to see what's next. I think that's it though. Oh, and salt. Oh my goodness, Coach. So salt, you need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to just do half of this. Remember, you don't want sea salt. Definitely don't want sea salt. So I'm going to put my salt back up. Alright. Keep all my spices. I think that's it. Because I'm not going to use cinnamon this time. Okay. Yeah, and cinnamon if you're really adventurous. Which I'm not. Okay. So it says to gently shake this mixture into bowl. So you can either do that, or if you have one of these, you just spin this around. Like that. And it all comes out. Nice enough. When you check the bowl, I have to shake it bowl to level it out so that it's not falling everywhere. This is a lot, but you just mix it in a little bit at a time according to this recipe, so that's what I'm going to do. Honey, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to wait. Koji has gotten good about letting me know when he has to go out. We're almost there. Okay. Just for any extra. So I'm going to go put this back up, because that's what my grandmother would do. If she wouldn't wash it, she'd just put it back up with her flour. So that's what I'm going to do. So now, it says you'll end up with this fluff, which you can see there's a lot of it. This bowl's pretty small though. So next it says to add about 1/3 of it. Try to mix it into your cookie dough, and then mix on medium until barely incorporated. Barely incorporated. Because this my bowl is so big. I'm just going to do spoonfuls of it. Just do a little bit at once. You don't have to follow the exact instructions on this part. I just do a little bit at a time till it looks like there's enough to kind of incorporate it here. So again, I'm going to turn on this mixer. It's going to be a little loud. Up to medium, which for me is number 3. Until it incorporates a little bit, then I'm going to add more, and I'm going to keep running the process. Okay, and then we're going to do a little bit more. Just repeating this process until all your dry ingredients you mixed up is completely gone. Oh my goodness, Koji. You can see how he drives me nuts when he has to go out. But, boo-boo, you're going to have to wait till I get these cookies in the oven. So now, just a little bit more. You can do this how you want to, but you're just supposed to add a little bit at a time until it's all completely mixed. And now I'm just going to lift this up so I can just add the last little bit in here. Like that. And then I'm going to put it back down and mix this all together. This until barely incorporated. And then scrape down the sides. You're supposed to repeat this process over and over again, which we just did. It says if you have a little helper, they help a lot. Just try to make sure that the flour is all, as soon as all the flour, including the sides and bottom mixing bowl, is incorporated, you stop mixing. Over mixing the dough at this point is a defined mistake. Some folks gently fold in the chips at this point by hand. I have arthritis, and for me that was always the hardest part of cookie baking. Well, that and trying not to eat a whole batch. That's true. You're trying to make a cookies, not eating some. Anyway, I found that I get the same effect by dumping all of my chips. That's what I do. I don't put them in by hand. I just dump them into the mixer, mix them around a bit. Done. Easy. Okay. So now we're just going to incorporate all of this. Do it for like 5-10 seconds. So I'm going to get my spoon and just go down the sides like that, just to make sure. I'm going to get all this off the little mixer here, so I have as much in the bowl as possible. Just go around these little parts if you have a mixer and just try to get as much as possible before you mix in the chocolate chips. Because if not, they're just going to stick to this, which makes it even harder to get out. So just get as much as you can. Doesn't have to be all of it, just as much as you're able to. You can use your fingers or whatever, just be careful not to turn the mixer on when your fingers are in there. That's why I prefer to use spoons, so just in case I hit the button, don't have to worry about it. Okay. I think I got the majority of it. Koji's pacing from me to the door. So I might have to step out of the kitchen for a second just to let him out, because his whining is getting worse, I can tell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Koji outside, and I'll come back in the kitchen, and we'll get the chocolate chips and we'll mix those up. So please bear with me. When Koji is whining that badly, I know he needs to go now. And I don't want to clean up this mess in the carpet. Okay, so here are the chocolate chips I buy. These are name brand. It really depends which ones you want or if they're on sale. These were on sale. That's why I got these. They're semi-sweet. So they're like really small chips, but this is gonna work for what I'm planning to do with it. So what I do is I just do a little bit at a time until it's completely mixed in here. I put it on 1 at the lowest setting. I put it in 1 at the lowest setting so it's not going crazy on me. Because with the chocolate chips in a mixer, it will go a little bit crazy. That's why I do it in the lowest setting possible. Slowly falling off here. Let me help you. You can also take these out if you want to make sure you get all of it out. I don't really worry about that until I'm ready to like scoop them up and bake them. I just get as much as I can so I can just keep putting chocolate chips. But if it looks like there's enough chocolate chips for me because I'm a chocolate lover, then I won't put any more chocolate chips. Just depends how it looks to me, and if I need to put more, I'll put more. If not, I won't worry about it. Always make sure you get the back, because like for some reason the back has the most dough back there. And now he's going to want to get back in. Well, he can wait now, because he's been out there. I left him out there for like a few minutes at a time. If he comes back and he's not being heard for like 5 seconds, he starts to whine. But it's totally cool. He is used to waiting for me to get done what I'm doing first. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more chocolate chips because it doesn't look like enough for me. Because this house is full of chocolate lovers, including Koji, even though he can't have any. So, just put it back down. I'm going to put it on 1, lowest setting possible, so my mixer doesn't go crazy on me. If you don't want to use the mixer for this part, you can also mix by hand if you want to. Totally up to you. It's just I've been doing this recipe a few times, and I know my mixer, so I know what it can take. Just checking, make sure all the chocolate chips are mixed. This is why I had a mixer, because this part is so hard on your hands. And my mom has arthritis, so I understand the part with the arthritis. So I totally get if you have arthritis and you stopped baking, don't just save your money to get a mixer so you can start baking again if that's what you really love to do. I have been meaning to make these cookies for a while, but I was waiting to make sure I had enough ingredients, and I figured while I was making cookies, I might as well show you how I do it. Just let me check this. Yeah, there's like enough chocolate chips for this household. So, just gonna do like that. So then what you're supposed to do, some people use like a little bitty spoon. But on this recipe, you can use an ice cream scoop. Yes, I said an ice cream scoop. I'm trying to find my grandmother's ice cream scoop. And the picture I first showed you is when he used an ice cream scoop to get it out. I'm not finding my oh, there it is. This is my grandmother's because it has that little thing. I love this one. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to spray my pan that I showed you, because I want to see how they come out if I do these. This way they'll be a little bit smaller, and you can get more. They're like bite size. These are awesome. I also got this at Winn-Dixie. It wasn't on sale, but I knew I needed this to make Koji's treats, and I can make more boiled eggs in this. And here I can make 24 instead of like 6 at a time for boiled eggs. I just do 2, sometimes 3. Just depending on your spray. This is Pam. So I'm pulling away from my iPad here because I don't want to get it. I usually do these a couple times so it doesn't stick too badly. Okay. So then what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to take your ice cream scoop, whichever ice cream scoop you have, and you're just supposed to take them out like that and dump them on the tray. But since I'm going to do a little smaller, I'm going to get a spoon so I can kind of control it. Right there. I'm going to mush it down some. But that's what you would do if you're using like a regular pan. But I'm not, so I'm just going to put it in there like that. And I'm going to mush it down some. I'm just going to keep doing this until I get all these full, and then I'm going to put them in the oven, and I'm going to tell you how long they'll take to bake. And I do have a cooling rack that I'm going to put them on. Just going to go right here, scoop it. That's all you would do if you were like putting them on like a regular pan. You just scoop it. Pull the lever if you have one on your ice cream scoop. These are going little holes. I'm just going to press them down a bit. Like that. And I'm just going to keep baking these until all the dough is gone. But if you want to do it a little bit at a time, you could also do that. Just put them in an airtight container so that they don't go bad in the refrigerator. But I think this is better than going to buy pre-made cookies or pre-made dough, because to me they put a lot of stuff in there that doesn't have to go in there, and at least this way you know what's in your cookies. Just simple ingredients. I bake cakes also. I baked my mom a heart-shaped cake. Boy, was that interesting. I had no heart-shaped container, so I just used aluminum foil to make the heart shape. I didn't tell her I was making her a cake. It was a surprise to her when she got home. And, oh, she bragged about that, trust me. She bragged about how I made a homemade cake for her. And if you want to see that tutorial, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments of any tutorial you want to see me do. And I'll do my very best to do every single one of them. And if I don't know about the tutorial, I'll do research on the tutorial just for you. Because you are my loyal viewers and my loyal subscribers. And I want to make sure I'm doing everything you want me to do. So if there's any tutorials that you want me to do, anything you want me to talk about, please leave it in the comments and I will schedule it in for a later date. Because I do have a couple of other things I'm going to talk about first. But I will schedule it in on my reminders so you will hear about what I have to say on the topic or whatever, or tutorial or whatever it is. Again, you are my viewers. You are the ones that come to my channel to watch my videos. And if you have any questions or suggestions on things you want me to talk about, that's what I'm going to do. If any haters or bullies try to bully me in my comment section, be warned, I am a Southern woman. I am a Scorpio. I will fight back. I will fight hard, and I will tell you and put you in your place. You are not going to bully me on my channel on social media because you don't have the balls to show me your face when you make these stupid, idiotic comments like that last guy. I don't like haters. I don't like bullies. I've always stood up to bullying and I always will. Don't like it. Don't watch my videos. Okay, so now he uses 2 spoons. I use that. So you're supposed to put this in the oven at 350 for 10 minutes. That's it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the oven for 10 minutes. And while those are baking, I'm going to get my cooling rack out and get it all set up for when these are done. So we're just going to put these in. The heat surprises me every time. I don't know why I'm not used to that. So we're going to press timer because I still have some dough in here. We're going to go for 10 minutes. We're going to start, and it will beep at me 3 times when they're done. So when the cookies are done, we're going to come back and we're going to look. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my cooling rack out. My mom actually bought these for me because she knew I was baking a lot. It was a 3-pack. It was 2 cooking sheets and a cooling rack for like 20 bucks. Which to me is a good deal. If you can find deals on this stuff, definitely pick it up. Definitely pick it up. So here's my cooling rack. I'm thinking they're going to come out smaller than I baked them last time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a paper towel and I'm going to put it under the cooling rack so in case they fall, they're not going to get dirty or anything like that. Another tutorial that I'm thinking about doing is doing apple chips for dogs. I've showed you my cheesy bites that I do for Koji. I've showed you my peanut butter pill pockets. I don't want to do peanut butter treats also because he has his peanut butter pill pockets. I don't want to put peanut butter over peanut butter. Even though he loves peanut butter, I just don't want to do it. So another tutorial that I'm going to do is going to be apple chips. I found a video that I've made his treats from before. They say to bake them for 5 to 6 hours. That kind of scares me, but I'm going to try it because the last recipe I did from them, Koji loved them, so I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see what happens. So they're going to be baking for another 8 minutes. So when they're done, I'll come back and we'll see how they look. Okay guys, the cookies are done. So I'm going to get my mitts and I'm going to bring them out. I'm going to show you what they look like. There are some adjustments that I need to make because some were too full, which is trial and error with this. So I'll pull these out. I'm going to show you what they look like. This is what they look like. They're yummy and very, very good. They look so good right now. I ain't even kidding. So I'm going to set these right here for now so I can shut the oven. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do these one by one. So I'm just going to get a regular spoon here. We get one oven mitt and I'm just going to hold it while I put these on the cookie sheet here. They should come out quite easily like that. Just spin it around like that. I would dump these over, but I'm scared they're going to fall off the cooling tray. These don't have to come out perfect when you put them on your cooling pan or whatever you're using as your cooling pan. If you hit them a little bit, it's totally fine. They're not going to taste any different. See, I split one in half. Totally cool. Doesn't look like they're falling through the cooling tray here, which I'm really happy about. But I do gotta make an adjustment here. Some of these are too full, so they went over, like this big guy did. So I'm trying to get these out as quickly as possible so they can cool off. But these are like chocolate chip muffins, which is really cool. I'm liking how it's turning out so far. But if you just want to do regular cookies, that's fine. But after you bake them, you bring them out, you put them on your cooling sheet. You're supposed to let them stand for 10 minutes before touching them. I know, that's a long time if you really love chocolate and they're really hot and moist right now. Trust me, I understand it. So if you sneak one away, it's okay. He just says to let them cool for 10 minutes so they hold their shape longer. They're cookies. I don't care what they look like. As long as they're not burnt, I'm totally okay with it. So that's why I'm trying this one, because you get a lot more and a little bit smaller than normal. And we're almost done with this. And then I got another batch to make. And once these cool, I'll split them in half for you so you can see the inside of the cookies. This is a really cool and easy recipe to follow. Very simple ingredients, very simple instructions. I'll share the link to this recipe as well, like I said before. That way you have the recipe to follow once you want to make these bad boys. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, see, I love this pan. I'm holding it with my bare hand right now. No mint. Oh, I love these things. They cool so easily. So I'm just going to take a little bit at a time because what I had before was too full. So I'm just going to put them in very slowly. Get another spoon here. If you're using the hot tray like I am, they're going to start to melt a little bit. But that is okay. That doesn't look like enough, so I'm going to get a little bit more. I'm going to be walking back and forth for a bit. But if you want to fast forward this to where I take them out of the oven, you can so do that instead of watching me walk back and forth. I would bring my bowl over here, but since my kitchen is so small, and this is so small right here, I don't want my bowl to fall and break. Because this is the only bowl I have. So I definitely don't want it to fall and break. So that is why I'm going to be walking back and forth. So I'm totally okay if you just want to fast forward this part. And also, if you're still watching, this Sunday is the WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So Sunday, I'm going to be posting a video on my predictions like I did last month of the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. I'm going to give you my predictions, and we're going to see what happens. Because if you don't know, I am a huge WWE fan. Always have been. I remember the Attitude Era. That was like my favorite era ever. This era, not so much, because now you have to be politically correct. You can't say this. You can't do this on TV. I just don't like it at all. I liked it when you could curse and you could flip people off and not feel like people are going to attack you because of it. To me, that was the best era so far. But I do like Shane McMahon. And Stephanie, I'm still iffy on her because I know what she did in the past and I really don't trust her like her brother doesn't right now, but I'm starting to see cracks in their partnership, which is very obvious. So Sunday I'll do my predictions of Monday of Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and then on Monday I'll give you the results of who won and lost. For some reason I can't watch the network on my computer, which I'm using it for these videos. It's a Google Chrome. I don't know why it won't let me watch the network on it. but it won't. So I'm thankful I have a tablet that I can watch it on. I have an iPad, so it lets me watch it, no problem. So I'm just going to watch it on there, and I'll write down the results as they happen, and I'll give you the results Monday. In case you missed the pay-per-view. And I like to do that to see if my predictions were correct or not. It's always something I'm worried about, if my predictions are going to come true or not. So now I'm going to pull these down here. I gotta put my spoons down so I can catch these guys. Like that. Oh my goodness. This is like a chocolate lover's dream right now. So I'm just gonna push and pull these down in there. Try to, at least. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one in the sink while I do this one. And if you are a Supernatural fan, there are two groups on Facebook that I am an admin on. One is called Supernatural Family, and the other is called For Love of Supernatural. I'll also leave the links of those two groups on Facebook in the description below if any of my fellow Supernatural fans want to join. These groups are drama free, so you don't have to worry about drama. Just make sure you read the pinned posts on both these groups so you know what will not be accepted in these groups. We don't like drama, we don't like bullying, we don't like being hatred towards each other. In my group that I started, there's a zero. I don't like no bullying, no hatred of any kind on my group, because I will kick you out of my group without even questioning you. It's a zero tolerance policy on my group. The other group is the same way. Both these groups are drama free. We don't like finding out that people are being bullied or they're getting people hating on them for some stupid reason. These groups do not let that come into effect. It is a supernatural group for people who just love to talk and post about supernatural things. That's all it is. And if you can't do that, you shouldn't be a part of these groups. Okay. So I have them in here. My fan has cooled a lot. So that's what I look at when they go in. Then put this back in while these are cooling. And after these cool completely, I'm going to show you the inside of the cookies and show you how good they are. So there's that. I'm going to set timer. I'm going to do big time for 10 minutes because that was the last batch. And that'll go off after 10 minutes. And after these cool completely, I'm going to show you the inside of these cookies. And trust me, they are very good. Okay guys, the cookies came out of the oven. They came out better this time actually. I'm going to show you the cookies. I'm not going to touch the pan right now because it just came out of the oven. But that's what they look like. They're not over the sides like the other ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the other ones and show you what they look on the inside. So let's go over to my cookies. Okay, this one feels nice and cold. So I'm just going to take a knife, probably a butter knife, and I'm just going to cut right into the center there, like that. And this is what they're going to look on the inside. They look really good. I'm going to test them for you because you see the chocolate chip is oozing right there. These are really good. Trust me. It's really good. Should definitely try out this recipe. If you love cookies or chocolate. I'll leave the link of the cookies in the description below, and I will leave my Facebook groups for Supernatural fans. If you're a Supernatural fan, I'll leave those links to those groups so you can join the groups. It's drama-free groups. No drama, no hatred, no bullying allowed. You can post anything you want. In my group, you can post spoilers, but just make a big note of it before you post saying spoilers, so that other fans know that it's a spoiler if they don't want to look at it. But that's it for today's video. I hope you liked this video. My cookies, I did a little experiment and tutorial with. If you do, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Thank you so much.